Life without limits. In ruling and in life, nothing surpasses moderation. One must form the habit early. Acquiring moderation results in accumulated virtue. By accumulating virtue, nothing is impossible. If nothing is impossible, one knows no limits. If one knows no limits, one may rule the empire. Those who possess moderation will endure. They have deep roots and strong stems. This is the secret to a long life and lasting insight into the Tao. This is chapter 59 of the Tao Te Ching, Life Without Limits. And this paints a really powerful picture. I think there are many people who wouldn't want a life without limits. Truly, to have every object of your heart's desire, everything that you can possibly imagine being positive, what a way to live. And it's fascinating because in the exact, perhaps to flip it on its head, in the very first line it says, hey, nothing surpasses moderation. So what are the limits? It seems to be suggesting that there are no limits, but at the very same time, there is a degree of wisdom that comes along with recognizing what I would argue, and I don't think that the Tao Te Ching is necessarily saying this, but I think it is one possible interpretation, that you right now can live a life without limits. If what you understand to be true is consistent with reality. If you are decreasing the friction, the battle between what is real and what is imagined. Now, part of what my bio says is that I'm thinking about the next generations. And this is done through the context of both the Tao Te Ching, Taoism, and through capitalism and the founding of America. Because personally, I think it's fascinating that these ideas arose in such drastically different cultures at drastically different times. And though these are the two examples that I'm using, or two time frames that I'm using, these ideas arise independently all the time. And oftentimes, though, the way that they come to the forefront of a person's mind is by seeking silence, seeking simplicity. There's a particular role of a parent that comes into helping one's child live a life without limits. And that is, as this says, nothing surpasses moderation. One must form the habit early. Why not earlier than childhood? Starting when we were kids, we have the opportunity to start developing and learning. And unfortunately, so many people may choose to stop learning as they transition into adulthood, as life becomes busy, as distractions become more prevalent. There's, of course, some recommendations in there that I would say are particularly important to reduce distractions, to insist on continuing to learn. If nothing is impossible, one knows no limits. If one knows no limits, one may rule the empire. What is the empire? At the very least, it's rule over yourself. It's control over your own life. Having control over your own life, your own mind, having self-control, having the ability to think critically and evaluate what is true and what is false is an attainable superpower. To those who do not have it, it will look as if it is magical. To them, it will look like you are doing the impossible, that you have no limits. However, this brief phrase that by knowing no limits, one may rule the empire, nothing is impossible, it's also a look beyond the self. It's a wise way to evaluate who to choose, who to vote for, who to elect to leadership. We can't do all things. Delegation is an important part of leading a functional, happy life. Keeping these elements in mind is a fantastic way to build a functional society in which all people's rights are protected.